The world remembers the Hurricane Katrina disaster that punished much of the U.S. Gulf Coast. New Orleans was especially hard hit. The storm caused more than $100 billion in damage and killed 1,800 people. The man who ended up in the spotlight during that time, the man charged with guiding New Orleans through the worst natural disaster in U.S. history, was sentenced to 10 years in federal prison just a matter of hours ago. Ray Nagin was convicted of bribery, money laundering, and other corruption charges. CCTV's Callebs joins us now. And Sean, you covered Nagin for 5 years in New Orleans after the storm. What are people saying there?
Well, a lot of people are saying, I'm not surprised. A lot of people that he would have gotten more than in fact, the judge in sentencing today said this was a time when the people of the city needed him, and instead he padded his own pocket. Contractors who came into that area wanted big city contracts, the kind of government money that came in after that major disaster. A lot of the allegations were, and he was convicted of, demanding kickbacks to get these major contracts. Here you see Nagin on the right side of the screen walking into court. He and his family now portray himself as a man who's simply been decimated by legal problems. He was an executive with the Cox Cable Company here in the U.S., making $400,000 a year. He took a job making $130,000 as mayor. Now he's filed for bankruptcy. His wife is on welfare, and she's working at a retail shop.
You know, what's interesting is we remember him after the storm. He seemed overwhelmed. He also seemed furious at times. What does the sentence tell us about this man?
Well, I think to a lot of people, they look at New Orleans, they look at the Louisiana state as an area rich in controversy, rich in political corruption. It's disappointing, but sadly, it's the truth. A lot of people simply weren't surprised. They kind of shrug and say, well, that's the way things have always been done. Famous Governor Edwin Edwards is still in prison down there. Nagin is not the first or probably the last politician in that region to go to prison. But I think if you look at the timing of this, 1,800 people dead, the entire city displaced. They needed a leader. Look what Mayor Giuliani did for New York after 9/11. They wanted someone like that. They got someone who failed horribly.
And this is a city, and I want you to talk about this, that was so decimated and so many poor people struggling to rebuild their lives. And here's the mayor walking away with money.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's what he got scolded for. And I think there's a lot of bitterness because the mayor had a chance to kind of fall on the sword today in court, if he had anything to say. He still is maintaining his complete innocence despite overwhelming evidence and literally dozens of people who lined up to testify against him. The judge did say in the case, look, a lot of people got rich because of what you did. Speaking to Nagin, he wasn't the one who profited the most, which is why she said she sentenced him to 10 years in prison, despite the fact that prosecution was pushing for 20 years because of the egregious corruption in the aftermath of that disaster.
Fascinating story. Callebs, thanks so much.